Our boy gets pinned to the pavement while this trash-tier girl snatches his only bag of supplies. He struggles against the dirt, desperately asking what right she has to steal his means of survival. She just sneers, claiming her power in this new apocalypse makes a nobody like him completely irrelevant. His hand trembles as he reaches out, realizing he's too weak to stop this blatant robbery. Tossing the bread like it's nothing, she mocks his powerless rage and calls him a pathetic weakling. The lackeys join the fun, laughing that a basement dweller like him is just born to be cannon fodder. Gritting his teeth in the dirt, he refuses to let go of his pride despite the overwhelming odds. She looks back with pure disdain, wondering why a loser like him is still trying to act tough. A sickening crunch follows as she stomps his hand, reminding him he'll never be worthy of a goddess. Fueled by a new, burning hatred, our boy swears he'll never let his betrayers escape his vengeance. Just as he hits rock bottom, a mysterious system activates, granting our boy trillions of credits for revenge. He initially bristles at the idea of spending on women, fearing the system wants him to remain AS. Turns out he just needs to bait gold diggers and slap their faces to multiply his wealth even further. With a massive newbie bonus covering his previous losses, he realizes his luck has finally turned around. Gritting his teeth, he vows to use this newfound power to systematically destroy everyone who ever looked down on him. Suddenly, a trash-tier woman named Chu Yao approaches, barking at him to clear the way and stop being an eyesore. She sneers at his pathetic state, accusing him of faking an injury just to scam her out of supplies. Instead of cowering, our boy stands up and prepares to test his new system on this arrogant stranger. He catches her off guard by shoving a reward in her face, treating her like a lowly servant. Chu Yao and LT, Unk and GT's mounting rage immediately triggers the system, proving that making these people mad is his new ticket to godhood. Lin Feng realizes the system is the real deal and starts feeling like a true player. He begins showering Chu Yao with supplies, acting like the wealth he just gained means nothing. The girl is completely floored, unknowingly activating a goddess strategy mode that tracks her growing affection. As he walks away, she stands there dumbfounded, wondering if all these riches are truly for her. He casually gives her his address, telling her exactly where to find him later that night. Her heart skips a beat as she decides that a man this generous is actually quite handsome. While riding the elevator, he sees his potential rewards skyrocketing as her affection levels continue to climb. Our boy does a little victory pose, thrilled that the system will refund everything he just spent. The doors slide open to reveal a flashy guy getting cozy with a girl right in the hallway. Lin Feng just grins, realizing another perfect target for his face-slapping scheme has just appeared. Lu Yi is stunned to see Lin Feng, wondering how a supposed loser managed to reach this exclusive floor. The rich bully mocks him, assuming he's just here to beg for compensation after getting his heart crushed. Our boy just smirks, calling her an A-tier girl, which sends her rage levels through the roof. The bully tells her to ignore the resourceless trash, unaware that a real goddess is standing right behind them. Chu Yao arrives on the scene, looking like a total dream while wondering what all the shouting is about. The rich bully is instantly lover-struck, recognizing her as the legendary campus goddess he's been dying to meet. He tries to introduce himself with a blush, but she ignores him to ask Lin Feng about their plans. Both bullies are left completely dumbfounded, unable to believe that this trash-tier guy is on such good terms. Chu Yao invites him to go scavenging for supplies, secretly wanting to test his capabilities in this new world. Lin Feng complains about the crazy prices, making the rich bully think he's just too broke for bread. Lin Feng casually hands over a mountain of supplies, warning Chu Yao that it's too dangerous for her alone. Liu Yi loses her mind, screaming at our boy to explain how a loser like him got so much. He just smirks, offering her a lollipop if she shows off that fake flirty attitude she used before. Lin Feng keeps the pressure on, mocking her broadcasting background and her history of chasing high-tier online gifters. The girl is absolutely seething with rage, which is exactly what he needs to farm more system points. Dismissing her pathetic mental state, he tells Chu Yao she's moving in with him to act as his bodyguard. He frames it as a fair trade for her safety, leaving the rich bully completely floored by his audacity. With his credit limit hitting 6 figures, Lin Feng plays off his magical resource summoning as a simple promise. Chu Yao leans in close, teasingly asking if all this special treatment means he's actually caught feelings for her. He maintains his poker face, wondering if she would even believe him if he tried to deny the attraction. Our boy decides it's time to whip up a meal. Acting completely unfazed by the looming chaos outside, Chu Yao finds him increasingly fascinating, especially since he managed to shrug off her usual charm so easily. As he preps ingredients, he's actually calculating favorability points and worrying about the terrifying biomutant queens ahead. Suddenly, the news broadcasts a chilling warning about a lethal cold wave set to paralyze the city tonight. He knows this is just the beginning of the end, with total infrastructure collapse and mutations right behind. The kitchen suddenly goes dark as the power cuts out, signaling that the apocalypse is ahead of schedule. Relaxing on a couch, Chu Yao is confused because the cold wave shouldn't have killed the grid yet. A sudden aggressive pounding at the door claims to be a routine check from the neighborhood committee. She moves to open it, but the timing of this supposed official visit feels incredibly suspicious to her. Lin Fang stops her, pointing out that their last inspection was way too recent for this to be legit. Chu Yao wonders if it's a routine inspection, but our boy knows this isn't some amateur college dorm. He grabs a blade, noting that property management, not some committee, should be handling these outages. The thugs outside demand they open up immediately, realizing the duo is definitely hiding inside. Checking the peephole, Lin Feng sees a trio of trash-tier looters looking for an easy score. He tries to brush them off with a lie about their private business. Sensing human nature's rot, the group outside isn't buying it, instead blaming the couple for the building's sudden power failure. Chu Yao fires back, exposing one of them as an ex-con, who clearly hasn't learned his lesson. Lin Fang steps in front to protect his investment, while Chu Yao mistakes his greed for heroism. He's dumbfounded when the system pings a favorability boost just for acting like a decent human being. Suddenly, the door flies open with a crash. As the thugs force their way into his sanctuary, Lin Fang realizes the intimidation didn't work and prepares for a messy confrontation with these desperate scavengers. The trash-tier looters barge in, their eyes bulging at the sight of enough food to survive the apocalypse. Our boy tries a psychological play, claiming the food is for the dead, but the woman just laughs. As she mocks him, Lin Fang's grip tightens on his blade, deciding she'll be the first to join them. With a cold surgical strike, he slashes her throat before she can even finish her mocking sentence. Chu Yao is absolutely dumbfounded by the sudden violence, while the remaining thugs freeze in pure terror. Looking them dead in the eye, he tells them they can have the food in the afterlife instead. Seeing their leader bleeding out, the other two thugs snap and draw their own blade for revenge. Suddenly, Lin Feng flips the script, putting on a fake smile and begging for mercy like a coward. The thugs are left completely confused by his bipolar behavior. Unsure if he's a monster or just pathetic, Lin Feng plays the coward, handing over the bread and telling the thugs to enjoy their meal. As they turn their backs, our boy's submissive act vanishes, replaced by a cold, murderous intent. He doesn't waste a second, lunging forward to silence the trash-tier looters once and for all. Chu Yao can only watch in absolute horror as the hallway is painted in a fresh coat of crimson. The last survivor swings wildly, realizing too late that he's trapped in a room with a monster. Lin Fang casually warns Chu Yao to keep it down. Knowing they can't explain this mess to neighbors, the thug refuses to back down, blinded by greed and the desperate need for that precious food. Our boy decides to use his system, conjuring a distraction right before the man's greedy eyes. While the fool is dumbfounded by the magic bread, Lin Fang delivers a final lethal strike to his throat. Standing over the corpses, he leaves Chu Yao trembling. Realizing her savior is more dangerous than the apocalypse itself, Lin Fang casually wipes his blade, while Chu Yao's mounting fury provides a nice boost to his credits. He checks his system interface, realizing that sharing his hard-earned resources would cost him a fortune in points. When Chu Yao worries about prison, our boy reminds her that the old world's laws died with the civilization. Their conversation is cut short when the rich bully and his trash-tier entourage arrive to demand their share. Lin Fang just gives them a chilling smile, suggesting that dead men tell no tales about his recent kills. The blatant threat sends Lu Ya's rage through the roof, which is exactly what our boy was hoping for. Without a word of warning, he delivers a brutal kick to the rich kid's groin to establish dominance. The group tries to play the neighbor card, desperately claiming they should all be helping each other survive. He brandishes his knife with a sadistic grin, admitting he'd much rather watch them all starve to death. Lu EE and LT, Unk and GT's fury hits a boiling point, unknowingly turning her into the perfect battery for Lin Fang's system. Lin Fang flips his knife, taunting Lu Yi to drop the act and beg if she wants to survive. The rich bully loses his cool, screaming for our boy to shut his mouth. As the tension peaks, he orders his trash-tier lackey to charge, hoping to overwhelm Lin Fang with sheer numbers. Chu Yao isn't having it, swinging her heel and reminding them that the old world's rules are gone. Suddenly, Lin Fang moves like a blur, leaving the trash-tier lackeys dumbfounded as he carves through them. He towers over the rich kid, coldly declaring that it's finally time for the trash to be collected. Desperate and cornered, the bully's hand fumbles for a heavy vase nearby to use as a last resort. He swings the ceramic with everything he's got, screaming for our boy to just die already. Linfong effortlessly catches the strike, making the bully realize they aren't even cut from the same cloth. As the vase shatters, Linfong delivers a final chilling promise to educate the kid's family. Later, Lu Yi watches in horror as her meal ticket lies broken. Realizing her social safety net just vanished, she immediately switches gears, trying to charm our boy by claiming her previous betrayal was just a test. Linfong isn't buying the act for a second and barks at her to get lost before he snaps. Chu Yao teases him about having lingering feelings, but he dismisses the trash-tier gold digger as totally worthless. They decide that burying the trash is too much work, opting to toss them out as a warning. Downstairs, the red-clad bully and her crew discuss their dwindling supplies. Unaware of the incoming delivery, their conversation is cut short by a sudden shadow from above, leaving the entire group completely dumbfounded. The rich kid's body streaks past the fire escape, a final gift from the penthouse sent with terminal velocity. The red-clad leader can only stare in mute shock as the brutal reality of the situation hits her. Seeing the young master turned into a sidewalk pancake, the lackeys realize a new monster owns this building. The trash-tier bodies hit the pavement with a thud, leaving the scavengers below completely dumbfounded by the carnage. Chu Yao watches the scene from above, noting that the bodies are cleared just before the cold wave hits. Our boy stays focused on the stove while his system cashes in on the neighborhood's massive rage points. He serves a hot meal to his bodyguard. Knowing that a well-fed soldier is always a loyal one, Chu Yao is moved by the gesture. Feeling a sense of domestic warmth that is rare in this hellscape, Linfong skips the meal himself, insisting they prioritize fortifying the place before the temperature drops even further. His tactical kindness pays off, maxing out her loyalty and unlocking a massive fortune in system credits. Downstairs, he finds the red-clad leader has fainted from the shock of seeing her rivals turned into pancakes. The remaining lackeys recognize him instantly, their terror turning into aggressive shouting as they point him out. Linfong just gives them a smug look, wondering if they actually have the guts to challenge him. Linfong delivers a crisp slap, reminding the trash-tier lackey exactly who is in charge now. He pins the guy down, noting that his newly doubled physical stats make crushing weaklings effortless. The bald lackey stands frozen, dumbfounded by how a former nobody suddenly became a literal monster. Seeing his buddy get wrecked, he drops to his knees and begs for mercy due to desperate times. Our boy grinds his heel into the first guy's head, mockingly asking if he still wants to talk trash. He pauses to calculate his next move, realizing these thugs might actually be useful for his upcoming plans. The two lackeys wait in pure terror, knowing their lives depend entirely on the whim of a madman. Linfong demands to know why the building's utilities were cut. Smelling a rat in the management, they quickly spill the beans about the looter's strategy of starving residents out to steal their precious supplies. He orders them to restore the power, promising them protection from the cold if they stay loyal. The red bully finally stirs, waking up to the heavenly scent of beef noodles filling the room. Confused, she asks where they are, while her former lackey are just relieved to see her finally awake. When she demands to know where the food came from, they admit our boy provided the feast. Linfong just offers a smug greeting, enjoying the sight of his new subordinates slurping their meal. She explodes in anger, calling them spineless for selling their loyalty for a bowl of trash-tier noodles. The lackeys argue that pride won't stop their hunger, while she warns him about her brother's wrath. Her rage spikes to new heights, which is perfect for our boy since he's farming easy system credits. She screams at them to stop eating, completely losing her cool as the lackey tremble in fear. The entitled brat demands he serve her on his knees, or else her brother will retaliate. Instead of reacting, he calmly sets the bowl down, likely planning a cold reality check for her. Before she can even finish her threat, our boy grabs her arm with iron-like grip. He tosses the entitled brat out like yesterday's trash, telling her to get lost. Linfong locks the door tight, completely ignoring her screams, while Chu Yao watches his cold efficiency. He casually sits back down, joking about whether she's worried the girl will catch a cold. Outside, she's fuming on the floor, cursing him for leaving her in the dark hallway without food. Suddenly, she realizes the temperature is dropping fast as the first snowflakes of the cold wave arrive. Desperate, she bangs on the door, threatening that her brother will kill him for this disrespect. Her heart sinks when he coldly claims that her precious brother is likely already a frozen corpse. The realization hits her like a truck, making her wonder if her only protection is truly gone. She screams that he's lying, but he just tells her to go downstairs and see the truth herself. Red Bully shivers in the hallway until Lu Yihe unexpectedly opens the door to offer her a way in. Chu Yao watches with a frown, sensing that the manipulative girl is just looking for a new host. Our boy remains unimpressed as the starving lackey plead for him to help their pathetic, freezing leader. Desperate for any warmth, Red Bully lunges toward the open door before the freezing air can claim her. Lin Feng finally stands up, acting as if showing mercy is the most tedious task in the world. The electronic lock clicks with a sharp sound, marking the moment their pride officially hits rock bottom. He stares down at the desperate pair, savoring the sight of these former elites reduced to begging. Lu Yi completely abandons her dignity, clutching his leg while crying about how hungry and cold she is. Red Bully is absolutely dumbfounded, watching her friend kneel and grovel before the man she despises most. Her rage boils over as she tries to drag her friend back, refusing to accept his trash-tier charity. Red Bully is absolutely livid, demanding her friend snap out of this pathetic display of weakness. Lu Yi doesn't care, begging our boy for forgiveness and promising to be his most loyal servant. Lin Feng just looks down at her with total disgust, finding her desperate groveling completely repulsive. Red Bully tries to talk sense into her, claiming they can still survive on their own. Turns out Lu Yi was just waiting to snap, blaming her friend's dead brother for everything. The betrayal hits hard, leaving the former leader speechless as her only ally turns into a viper. She doubles down on the venom, calling them both trash-tier humans who deserve their miserable fate. Our boy just sits back and enjoys the dog-eat-dog drama, while his system credits skyrocket. He holds up 2 fingers, ready to lay down the law for these desperate survivors. He tells the gold digger to keep her distance, ignoring her cries about him being heartless. Lin Feng gives the former leader a choice: submit and replace her brother or die alongside her traitorous friend. She absolutely loses it, her rage fueling his system credits as she vows to kill the man who ruined her. After being tossed out, she desperately bangs on the door. Realizing her status as a queen is officially over, the reality of the cold world sets in. Her internal fury and fear providing a massive payday for our boy. He just scoffs at her temper, finding her predictable outbursts more amusing than threatening in this new world order. Seeing the system hit 400,000 credits makes him ecstatic, realizing that broken spirits are his best resource. While he laughs like a maniac, his companions wonder if he has finally lost his mind to the darkness. To celebrate the massive haul, he cracks open some beers, planning to drink until the world stops spinning. Suddenly, the lights flicker and die, plunging the room into a darkness that even his wealth cannot immediately fix. The group panics as the heating fails, knowing that without power, the freezing night will become their next executioner. Lin Feng deduces that the extreme cold is likely frying the circuits rather than any human interference. He urges everyone to eat hot food while questioning Chu Yao about her lack of winter gear. Checking his system, our boy realizes he needs 500,000 credits to unlock the next shop tier. He mentally curses her for being a trash-tier survivalist who throws away Autoff's essentials like a fool. Chu Yao is absolutely dumbfounded that he actually stockpiled winter coats and blankets during the height of summer. Their bickering intensifies as he mocks her lack of foresight, while she questions his sanity for weird planning. The nearby lackey watched the duo argue, wondering if the freezing temperatures have finally made their leader snap. Chu Yao turns her fury on the subordinates, her boiling temper serving as a perfect battery for system points. Lin Feng smirks as he cashes in a massive wave of rage, converting their frustration into pure spending power. With his balance finally crossing the threshold, he prepares to see what high-tier gear the new shop offers. Lin Feng ignores the girl screaming because he just hit a massive jackpot of over 500,000 credits. He laughs like a madman at his peak fortune while his bodyguard wonders if he's finally lost his mind. Suddenly, the power returns, saving the lackey from freezing. Though, our boy knows exactly why the lights flickered. He spent 100,000 credits to secure months of utilities, planning to cash in on everyone's desperation. Our boy grabs a megaphone and starts blasting a trash-tier sob story about a cheating wife to bait neighbors. The starving residents are absolutely dumbfounded by the cringe, cursing him for making noise during a literal apocalypse. This was the plan all along. As rage points flood his system, turning their hatred into pure wealth, he revels in the thrill of his scheme. While the subordinates whisper that their boss is mentally unstable, despite his god-tier planning, the biting cold still gets to him, leaving him shivering like a total amateur. Our boy hits the absolute jackpot as his system converts the neighborhood's collective rage into nearly 1,000,000 credits. His crew is genuinely concerned he's lost his mind, trying to test his sanity with basic math problems. He just laughs off their worries, declaring that his word is the only law that matters in this house. Chu Yao can only facepalm in despair, wondering how she ended up babysitting a total lunatic during the apocalypse. The peace is shattered when a group of desperate survivors starts pounding on the door, demanding they open up. While the lackey crumble in fear of the mob, Lin Feng remains completely unfazed by the looming threat, as actually looking forward to it, confident that his mastery of psychological warfare will crush these trash-tier invaders. Outside stands a new trio of troublemakers led by a flashy blonde woman who clearly hasn't lost her ego. Turns out the leader is an infamous internet celebrity, and our boy is already planning his next big scheme. Lin Feng casually invites the intruders to smash his power box, acting like he's tired of it anyway. Sun Sina and her lackey are dumbfounded by his behavior. While Lin Feng's system ras in easy rage points, our boy reaches out to goad the man with the cross, calling him a coward for hesitating. The thug cowers for a second before the taunt hits his pride, forcing him to take the bait. He swings the hammer with everything he's got, causing the power box to erupt in a burst of electricity. Lin Feng just watches the sparks fly with a cold gaze, knowing exactly how this trap will end. Sun Tzu and her muscles start gloating, thinking they finally forced the homeowner into total submission. Little do they know, our boy is just getting started, his sinister smirk proving he's the one in control. With a simple snap of his fingers, he prepares to activate a system skill and end this farce. The power box repairs itself instantly, leaving the elderly man questioning his own sanity. Sunshiner stands frozen as the supposedly trashed equipment looks brand new again. Lin Feng just smirks, taunting the muscle by asking if he is too weak to break a box. Enraged by the disrespect, the thug goes berserk and pummel the box until sparks fly. He stands back proudly, convinced that no amount of magic can fix this wreckage. The box gloats and restores itself once more, turning the thug's pride into pure terror. Our boy mocks Sun Tzu for her trash-tier taste in men while cashing in on their rage. Driven to madness, the lackey decides if he cannot break the box, he will break Lin Feng. Lin Feng does not even break a sweat, effortlessly dodging the heavy swing like child's play. With a quick shift in his stance, he prepares to show this clown true physical dominance. Lin Feng slips behind the thug, mocking his pathetic strength and making him question his very existence. He dubs the terrified lackey the Prince of Emptiness, enjoying the sheer fear radiating off the man. Sunshiner tries to act tough, claiming that having power is useless once his food supplies inevitably vanish. Our boy just laughs, conjuring a massive feast of skewers and burgers to show off his god-tier resources. The intruders stand there frozen, unable to process how a trash-tier loser has access to such luxury. Realizing he has actual superpowers, Sunshiner's jealousy boils over as she provides him a massive rage windfall. Consumed by spite, she orders her group to smash everything, refusing to let him enjoy what she lacks. Lin Feng signals his new subordinates to strike, manifesting baskets full of a very special, stinky surprise. Suddenly, a barrage of rotten eggs rains down, forcing the high and mighty influencers to retreat in total disgust. Covered in filth, Sunshiner and her elder lose their minds while our boy cashes in on their fury. One of our boy's new lackey slams a bucket over the elder's head to finish the job. The old man hits the floor, completely humiliated and covered in the most disgusting sludge imaginable. Lin Feng calls his crew back inside, leaving the trash to rot in the hallway. Sun Tzu is so desperate, she offers herself as a reward, fueling our boy's system with pure rage. Chu Yao panics about the intruders, but Lin Feng knows his god-tier door won't budge for anyone. He cashes in a massive windfall of credits, finally unlocking the clothing category in his system shop. When acid rain begins to fall, Lin Feng decides it's the perfect time for a stroll. He tosses a jacket to his loyal lackey, who starts imagining his boss leads some secret underworld group, telling him to stop reading trash-tier novels. Lin Feng prepares to step out into the toxic downpour. Opening the door, he's dumbfounded to see Sunshiner and her goons still loitering like pathetic beggars. Lin Feng doesn't have time for beggars and shoves the blonde influencer aside like she's yesterday's trash. Sun Tzu is absolutely fuming, unable to believe a commoner would dare lay a hand on a top-tier celebrity. Seeing the ship sinking, Zhaoan immediately throws his boss under the bus to beg for a meal. He even tells her to stop ruining his vibe with his new superpowered bro, proving loyalty is cheap. Desperate, Sunshiner tries to play the beauty card, offering her favor if he just lets her inside. Our boy responds with a crisp slap, showing her exactly how much he values her trash-tier influence. He mockingly asks if he's just some basic man looking for her favor while her world crumbles. When she dares him to do it again, he happily obliges with another strike to her other cheek. The girl is so delusional, she actually thinks this is reverse psychology meant to win her heart. Lin Feng just calls her while his new lackey keeps pledging loyalty to the winning side. Lin Feng decides he is done with the drama and tells his new lackey they are leaving immediately. Suddenly, a system notification pings in his mind, catching our boy off guard just as he prepares to move. Zhao tries to plead for the fallen influencer, but Lin Feng remains completely unimpressed by his whining. The traitorous lackey rushes to check on the shivering girl, wondering if she can even survive the biting cold. Even as he offers her his jacket, her favorability remains at 0, showing her heart is still trashed here. Lin Feng orders them to report to his bodyguard while he prepares to brave the deadly elements alone. Outside, the acid rain is already melting everything in sight, turning the street into a corroded, rusted wasteland. Despite the danger, he needs to reach the delivery station to secure a vital package before it is destroyed. While trekking through the downpour, he spots a mysterious woman lurking in the shadows of a nearby building. She tries to lure him over, but our boy immediately recognizes this pathetic honey trap for what it is. Lin Feng plays along with the mysterious woman, asking what kind of trouble a beauty like her could be in. The vibe shifts instantly as she flashes a blade. Catching our boy off guard for just a split second, she demands he strip off his clothes right there in the rain. Clearly, after his high-tier gear, he just laughs, pointing out that even for a honey trap, she is being way too aggressive and harsh. Instead of panicking, he smirks and tells her she's actually quite amazing for trying something this bold. She isn't playing games and threatens to end him if he doesn't hand over the goods immediately. Lin Feng sighs and starts unzipping his jacket, acting like he's actually falling for her trash-tier intimidation tactics. As he tosses the coat her way, she mocks him, claiming he isn't even worthy of speaking to her. Our boy just gives her a chilling smile, repeating her words back to himself as his plan unfolds. Suddenly, the jacket begins to glitch with system energy, proving that taking gifts from him is a fatal mistake. Lin Feng smirks, telling her to come back only after she has learned how to properly beg. The girl is completely dumbfounded as the jacket vanishes in a thin air right before her eyes. As our boy walks away, she fumes with rage, claiming he isn't even qualified to negotiate. She lunges for a sneak attack, but he effortlessly catches her arm without even looking back. He quickly pins her against the wall, showing her exactly who holds the real power here. Lin Feng mocks her trash-tier arrogance while she still dares to call him a worthless ant. She continues her delusional rant, insisting that without resources, he is nothing more than a number. He decides to play along, offering her 2 bundles of noodles if she runs an errand. She scoffs at the reward, acting like she is the one doing him a massive favor. Fed up with her constant yapping, our boy delivers a sharp slap that sends her spinning. Lin Feng stands over her, mocking the idea that a couple of noodles would ever be enough for her. The girl is absolutely dumbfounded that a bottom-tier person actually had the guts to strike her across the face. Our boy doesn't care about her feelings and walks away, leaving her bleeding and shivering in the acid rain. She glares at his back while clutching her face, clearly plotting a way to make him regret this humiliation. He casually gives her his apartment number, basically baiting her to try her luck if she ever feels brave. Her rage hits a boiling point as she screams into the rain, swearing he'll pay for every single insult. Returning home with his package, Lin Feng finds a desperate son, Sure, waiting for him in the cold hallway. She instantly drops her pride and clings to him, begging to be his servant just for a warm room. His lackey are amazed at how fast this trash-tier influencer can switch personalities when her life is at stake. Grabbing her chin, he warns her to never act shameless again because everyone is just a survivor now. Lin Feng finally caves and lets the trash-tier influencer inside, though he demands she wash her filthy self first. As he sets his package down, the system rewards him with massive credits for the psychological damage he's dealt. Our boy realizes he's nearly rich enough to unlock superpower fruits. Feeling the weight of being lonely at the top, Chu Yao is dumbfounded that he risked the acid rain for a box, but he just hits her with sarcasm. She gets flustered and storms off, swearing she never had any intentions of marrying a guy like him anyway. Opening the mystery box, it turns out the big prize is just a surprisingly cute teddy bear. Zioyan can't help but tease his boss, never expecting a cold-blooded survivor to have such a soft, romantic side. The lackey make themselves scarce, jokingly leaving the master bedroom for the 2 supposed lovebirds to enjoy. Suddenly, the entire building begins to shake violently, leaving Lin Feng wondering if an earthquake is actually hitting them. Turns out the red bully has returned, screaming for blood and ready to end whoever crossed her tonight. Our boy tries to act innocent, but the crew isn't buying his excuses for a single second. He completely loses his cool when they suggest things got a bit too spicy behind closed doors. Rubbing his temples, he realizes that dealing with these idiots is going to be a long, exhausting process. He kicks back and summons some tea, betting his entire base that the intruder won't get inside, and the boys are absolutely floored, realizing their boss is on a whole different level. Even Sunzer tries to play the charm card, sending the trash-tier lackey into a total frenzy. Chu Yao finally snaps, screaming at the top of her lungs for everyone to just shut their mouths. While the chaos unfolds, Lin Feng calmly sips his tea, focused on maintaining his cold, calculated image. Chu Yao worries about the neighbors hearing the racket, but he doesn't seem to care one bit. He shuts her down by reminding her he was the only one who actually stood up for her. Chu Yao is absolutely fuming, her rage reaching a boiling point as she glares at our boy. Unbothered by the drama, Lin Feng heads to the door, ready to deal with the next headache. Suddenly, he finds himself staring down the barrel of a pink rifle, looking genuinely caught off guard. The girl behind the trigger is livid, her rage point spiking as she threatens to end him. He calmly gives her two choices: either keep being a nuisance or join his winning team. She just gets saltier, loading her weapon while questioning if he has a death wish. Lin Feng just shrugs it off sarcastically, inviting her to fire and treat him like a firecracker. She is completely dumbfounded when her high-tier weapon fails to even scratch the reinforced door. Realizing she is outmatched, she backs off but promises a miserable death if he messes with her. Our boy just strikes a smug pose, bragging that following his lead is her only real option. The purple-haired girl storms in and tells our boy to shut his mouth while he is busy snacking. Chu Yao plays the perfect hostess, offering the intruder a bowl of beef noodles to calm her nerves. Staring at the steam, the girl realizes only the city's top elites should have access to such luxury. Seeing the food, Sunch starts acting like a hungry puppy and begs Lin Feng for a taste. He mocks her constant whining, but eventually promising to whip up something special for her. She practically tackles him in a hug, convinced that her favorite big bro actually cares about her. While the girl eats, Chu Yao asks if she is heading to the hospital due to some illness. The girl suddenly panics, realizing she needs to reach her destination before the sun actually comes up. Lin Feng leans into his chef persona, happily seasoning a pot of food with a secret system recipe. Before he can finish, the girl grabs him by the ear and drags him toward the door. Lin Feng tells Chu Yao to hold down the fort while he heads out for a bit. As he leaves with the girl, Chu Yao waves and warns him to be careful out there. The red bully tells her not to worry because our boy is as tough as nails. Standing in the acid rain, the purple-haired girl questions if his junk-tier scooter even still runs. Lin Feng just laughs, boasting that his ride handles the wasteland roads like an absolute boss. She explodes in anger when she sees the dead battery, certain he is just playing games. He smirks, knowing his massive credit balance makes buying a new battery a total piece of cake. To far more rage, he asks her if she has any faith in the light. She answers with a brutal punch to his face, netting him even more precious system points. Nursing his bruised cheek, he realizes that crazy woman actually has some serious power behind her strikes. Zhou Tang fumes in the downpour, regretting her decision to ever trust a trash-tier street thug like him. She narrows her eyes with suspicion, trying to figure out what our boy is actually plotting this time. Lin Feng just smirks and tells her to quit complaining and hop off the ride of her life. As they speed off, she is dumbfounded that the acid rain isn't even scratching his pristine electric scooter. He mocks her for being blind, pointing out that his high-tier gear is obviously immune to the elements. She snaps back with irritation, wondering how she was supposed to know his ride was this special. Our boy just guns the engine, promising her a literal joy ride through the middle of the apocalypse. Watching his back, she begins to wonder if this upbeat lunatic is actually the savior her father mentioned. The system pings as her affection rises, and Lin Feng eagerly cashes in his massive haul of points. To keep the momentum going, he asks for her gun, claiming he can give the weapon a legendary upgrade. Zhou Tang is absolutely floored, wondering if this guy is actually a walking talking cheat code for weapon upgrades. Lin Feng smirks, realizing that unlocking slots for her gun is a win-win that nets him massive system cashback. Their ride is cut short when a trash tier guard blocks the path, demanding they halt immediately. Shivering in the rain, she tries to pull rank and convince the man to let them pass through. The guard doesn't give a damn, claiming that even a god wouldn't get past him without permission. He starts spewing filth, insulting her looks, and suggesting she is carrying some nasty wasteland diseases. Our boy has heard enough and tells the loudmouth to go find some hemorrhoid cream for his itchy face. The guard just laughs it off, mocking Lin Feng's sharp tongue with a crude joke about being well lubricated. Before the idiot can finish his sentence, Lin Feng delivers a brutal strike that sends teeth flying everywhere. As the guard collapses in a pool of blood, Lin Feng reminds him that talking trash has painful consequences. Lin Feng kicks the trash tier guard, mocking his crude jokes while the idiot hits the pavement hard. Our boy looks down with pure disdain, reminding the loser that cannon fodder needs to know their place. Jo Chang panics when she sees a whole squad of reinforcements rushing out to surround them in the rain. Lin Feng just smirks and readies his rifle, promising to show these amateurs what a real marksman looks like. He guns them down from the moving scooter, turning the rainy street into a one-sided slaughterhouse for the rebels. They finally reach the medical wing, where the desperate cries for mercy echo through the cold, wet air. Another guard drops to his knees, begging for his life as Lin Feng looms over him with cold eyes. Instead of wasting a bullet, he crushes the man's skull with a brutal strike from his heavy weapon. Jo Chang bursts into the lab, frantically calling out for a man named Old Chin. As Lin Feng follows, the old doctor and his nurse are dumbfounded, wondering how she survived the acid rain to reach them. Joy Yuang ignores the pleasantries and demands to know the status of their critical experiment right now. Our boy immediately starts playing the victim, begging the nurse for a checkup, because he's just so terrified. Seeing his shameless acting, Jo Chang loses it and drags him away by the ear for being a creep. When the old doctor asks about the stranger, she introduces him as Chun Yu, her indispensable savior. Old Shin is genuinely impressed, sensing that this young man is far more than just a random survivor. The nurse isn't buying it, coldly reminding everyone that only those who can actually survive the end times matter. She starts bragging about her man, Chong Wei, claiming he's a cut above the rest with elite connections. Lin Feng just smirks and asks if this legendary boyfriend's waist is gold-plated or something equally ridiculous. He racks up easy rage points while warning her that judging him now will lead to a painful realization. The nurse doubles down on her arrogance, accusing him of just trying to leech off their superior food supplies. Lin Feng quips that the two sisters are cut from the same cloth regarding their obsession with food. Joan defends him, bragging that he actually eats beef noodles at home to prove his high status. The nurse laughs it off, claiming such resources are impossible to find, even for her elite boyfriend. Our boy shoves her head back, mocking her for being delusional, while collecting a nice chunk of rage. Old Chin starts digging into his background, asking if his father is some big shot in government. After he denies having any connections, the nurse tells the doctor to stop wasting time on a hoodlum. She continues mocking her sister, offering a bite of food out of pity for her poor choices. Fed up with the trash talk, Lin Feng shuts her up with a lightning-fast slap to the face. The nurse is left dumbfounded and reeling, fueling his system with even more sweet rage points. He tells her to stop acting like royalty and asks which low-tier club she used to work at. The nurse is absolutely fuming, threatening to make him disappear using her boyfriend's connections to the Howie group. Our boy just sigh, realizing this trash tier drama is now tied to the city's biggest power players. Suddenly, her backup arrives in the form of a sharp-dressed man and a few generic-looking thugs. She immediately plays the victim, clinging to her man while claiming she's being bullied by some random rogue. She points a finger right at Lin Feng, lying through her teeth about him harassing and hitting her. Enraged by the disrespect, the boyfriend orders his muscle to teach our boy a painful lesson. Two lackeys throw everything they have into a double punch, but Lin Feng doesn't even flinch. The thugs are completely dumbfounded when their strikes feel like they just hit a solid steel wall. They recoil in agony, their hands shattered against his magically enhanced body while they scream in pure pain. Lin Feng just offers a sarcastic check-in, mocking their pathetic attempt at intimidation. While Zhou Tang watches, the nurse hysterically demands her boyfriend's muscle our boy right now for the perceived disrespect. One trash-tier lackey decides to escalate things by pulling out a hidden blade to end the fight. He lunges forward with a murderous glint, thinking he finally has the upper hand against the intruder. Lin Feng just delivers a lightning-fast kick that sends a guy flying before he can even blink. The thug's world turns into pure agony as his bones shatter from the sheer force of the impact. Our boy casually jokes about it being a reflex and invites the remaining trash to try again. Kongwei is absolutely livid, cursing his men for being such pathetic, useless failures in front of everyone. Suddenly, Zhou Chang exposes his true goal of stealing gene data to monopolize power in the apocalypse. The delusional nurse refuses to listen, insisting her man truly loves her and deserves all the research. Lin Feng just laughs, comparing her to a chicken that willingly marinates itself for a hungry weasel. Lin Feng pulls out a stack of documents, offering the data in exchange for his supposed brother's safety. Old Chin is completely dumbfounded, wondering how on earth this outsider managed to get his hands on the data. Zhao Chang looks on with pure disgust, realizing the man she trusted is just another spineless coward. Changwei smirks and tells our boy he's making a smart move by surrendering the files to him. As Lin Feng hands over the papers, Zhou Chang swears she will personally end him if they survive today. The trash tier couple greedily looks over the documents, convinced they finally have the key to absolute power. Suddenly, Chong Wei's expression shifts to pure malice as he orders his guards to take the intruders away immediately. The nurse clings to her man's arm, mocking the idea of destiny while her goons close in. Lin Feng just laughs, roasting the nurse's delusional attitude while the system racks up even more rage points. Absolutely livid, Changwei commands his soldiers to attack and use our boy as a scapegoat for their anger. Lin Feng suddenly halts the guards, telling them to hold on while he addresses the trash tier couple. Changwei and the nurse look smug, thinking they've finally cornered our boy and secured the precious gene data. He just scoffs, explaining that fear is a luxury he hasn't felt since the world went to hell. The nurse mocks his tough talk, convinced that holding the data gives her absolute leverage over his life. Suddenly, Lin Feng activates his system, causing the files to vanish right out of their greedy hands. Changwei stares at his empty palms, completely dumbfounded as he realizes the leverage he held just evaporated. Panicking, the nurse screams at her guards to reclaim the files before their leverage is gone for good. Our boy just laughs and begins incinerating the digital data, leaving Old Chin absolutely horrified by the destruction. Enraged, the trash tier leader calls him a lunatic and orders a full-on charge to stop the madness. Lin Feng calmly summons glowing ropes to bind his attackers, proving he's always 3 steps ahead of them. The glowing ropes tighten around the nurse and her goons, leaving them completely helpless and screaming in confusion. Our boy just smirks, telling them they're officially screwed because nobody is getting that data now. Zhou Chang loses it, screaming that he's a total lunatic for destroying something so vital to their survival. Lin Feng suddenly gets serious, grabbing her and asking if she truly believes in the light of hope. Caught off guard by his intensity, she actually blushes and admits that she wants to believe in him. He immediately bursts into laughter, mocking her for being such a childish idiot to fall for that line. The betrayal hits hard, sending her rage levels through the roof as she realizes she's being played again. She prepares to take his head off, but Lin Feng is too busy posing to care about her strike. The system cashes out a massive haul of rage points, pushing his private credit quota into the millions. Even with the windfall, he realizes he's still a bit short for his ultimate goal. While she fumes, Lin Feng reassures Zhou Chang that the gene experiment package is safe and sound with him. Old Chin is genuinely curious if our boy is actually some kind of elite medical researcher in disguise. The bound nurse starts screeching, blaming the Dr. Sility for failing to secure their precious technology. Lin Feng just pokes her forehead, mocking her for having a brain that clearly doesn't function right. He keeps the trolling at max's volume, diagnosing her with a total emotional breakdown to farm rage. Our boy stands back with a smug grin, telling her to stop jumping the gun so quickly. She looks ready to explode as her rage points hit a new high, fueling his system's bank. Back at the base, Sanina notices that Chu Yao looks completely drained from a sleepless night. Chu Yao admits she couldn't rest, her mind likely racing with worry over Lin Feng's dangerous mission. Sun Tzu reassures her that Lin Feng is way too strong to ever be the one suffering. Sunshiner is left dumbfounded as she realizes someone is making a move without her permission. Chu Yao suddenly bolts toward the exit, her desperation to find our boy overriding any sense of caution. Sun Tzu worries that the trek to the hospital is suicide given how lethal the frozen wasteland has become. She screams at Chu Yao for rushing off like she is heading straight to her own funeral. The red bully snaps back, reminding everyone that Lin Feng killed her brother and deserves no loyalty. Sunshiner just sides in frustration, realizing Chu Yao has already vanished into the dangerous cold. Meanwhile, at the facility, Old Chin questions if gene evolution is actually possible in this trash tier world. Lin Feng just smirks and tells the old doctor to relax and grab some breakfast before they get serious. He uses his system to conjure a massive feast out of thin air, leaving the onlookers completely stunned. While he snacks, the bound nurse and her boyfriend realize they are dealing with a powerful awakened human. Changwei starts graveling, promising to be a loyal dog if our boy just spares his miserable life. Lin Feng just keeps snacking, casually asking if this trash tier villain is truly ready to do anything. Seeing an opening, the bound nurse tries to sell out her own sister just to stay alive. Our boy isn't buying the act, mocking her fake personality and asking to see her supposed tricks. She fumes internally, fueling the system with rage points while cursing the man who won't fall for her. Zhou Tang interrupts the fun, warning that the Hoya group won't just sit around while their man is missing. Lin Feng just smirks, planning to squash any incoming threats like the literal pests they are. She grows frantic, explaining that the enemy leader is a martial arts prodigy who will definitely kill them. Suddenly, a booming voice from outside demands the gene data or the entire facility gets leveled. The Haya young master arrives with his squad, giving everyone a final 30 seconds before the fireworks start. Outside, a trashier lackey wonders why they're just waiting around instead of storming the medical facility. The Hao young master isn't a fool. Knowing that rushing in blindly usually leads to a swift death, he loses his cool, physically correcting his subordinate for even suggesting such a brain-dead suicidal plan. Inside, Zhou Chang is losing it, begging the group to escape while she stays behind to buy time. Our boy Lin Feng just keeps snacking completely unfazed while farming easy rage points from her mounting anxiety. The bound Chongwei starts acting tough, demanding a 5-star meal before he graciously allows them to surrender. Lin Feng has zero patience for the noise, delivering a heavy boot to the man's face to shut him up. Seeing her meal ticket getting stomped, the nurse screams their exact location to the forces waiting outside. The guard recognizes the voice and urges his boss to move, hoping for a quick rescue mission. Instead of thanks, he gets a face full of palm as the Hoya young master demands total silence. The Hoya young master loses his patience, calling for explosives to blow the whole place to kingdom come. Our boy Lin Feng finally steps out to meet him, looking completely unimpressed by the flashy entrance. The young master demands the data immediately, threatening a painful death if his orders aren't followed. He mocks Lin Feng, refusing to believe a weak-looking kid could be the powerhouse behind the facility's slaughter. Lin Feng just smirks and admits he's the one who took everyone out, baiting the man's ego. Infuriated by the trash tier attitude, the young master delivers a heavy mana-infused punch straight to the face. The force sends Lin Feng tumbling back across the grass as the guards watch their boss's dominance. He clutches his bleeding mouth, seemingly dumbfounded that someone actually managed to land hit on him. The young master laughs, lecturing him that showing off in this world is a one-way ticket to hell. Turns out Lin Feng is just getting started, finding the young master's peak strength hilariously underwhelming. The young master is absolutely dumbfounded. Unable to comprehend how a weakling survived his mana-infused strike, Old Chin restrains a worried Zhou Chang, insisting that Lin Feng isn't the type to throw his life away. The nurse mocks them from her ropes, demanding they hand over the data to save their pathetic lives. Zhou Tang looks at her with pure disgust, questioning why the young master would ever value someone like her. Still delusional, the nurse brags about her endless list of suitors, thinking she's some top-tier prize. Zhou Chang hits back hard, telling her that having low standards doesn't make her actually charming. As Zhou Chang walks off, the nurse loses it, accusing her of being nothing more than a jealous hater. She continues to shriek like a banshee, but her desperate cries fall on deaf ears. Back in the fight, our boy effortlessly ducks a high kick, making the young master look like an amateur. The young master thinks he has won, ordering his trash-tier lackey to set the explosives immediately. He looks down at our boy, warning him that he will be dead within 3 moves if he persists. While Fang just smirks, reiterating that 3 moves are actually all he needs to wipe them all out. One of the guards loses his cool and lunges, convinced he can end this in a single strike. Suddenly, Zhou Chang drops in and sends the guard flying with a perfectly timed kick to the chest. She ends up crashing right on top of Lin Feng, leaving them both completely dumbfounded on the grass. Rubbing her head, she's annoyed while Lin Feng jokingly asks if she has been eating iron for breakfast. She snaps at him for joking around during a life-or-death situation, farming some easy rage points for him. The young master just laughs, mocking our boy for being a pathetic gigolo who hides behind women. The trash-tier young master and his goons keep laughing, calling our boy a coward for hiding behind a woman. Lin Feng ignores the insults, checking his system as he cashes in nearly 300,000 credits from Rage. Even with that massive haul, he realizes he is still a few hundred points short of his goal. To bridge the gap, he coldly shoves Zhou aside, telling her to stop ruining his big moment. She snaps back in a fury, warning him that he is way out of his league this time. Our boy doesn't blink, harshly asking if she even understands human language before telling her to get lost. Zhou Chang is left dumbfounded and teary-eyed, unable to believe how heartless he is acting right now. Finally reaching her limit, she tells him to go ahead and die if that is his wish. She breaks down in tears, convinced that his arrogance has finally sealed their doom. The young master finally loses his patience and orders his trash-tier lackey to finish our boy off once and for all. Lin Feng doesn't even flinch, calling on his system to finally settle the score and unleash his hidden power. Just as the blades are about to fly, a mysterious woman watches from her car. Intrigued by finding an awakened here, Gao Xiao steps out of her luxury ride, mockingly asking if this pathetic brawl is the entertainment she was promised. Suddenly, the once arrogant young master turns into a stuttering mess, clearly terrified of the powerhouse standing before him. Our boy's system identifies her as a major player from the Gao family, possessing a massive 10 times rage multiplier. Lin Feng is dumbfounded by her stats, wondering if she is just naturally toxic or if her temper is truly legendary. Playing it cool, he uses his alias to introduce himself while shaking hands with the most dangerous woman in town. She ignores the surrounding tension and calls out to Old Chen, clearly having business that far outweighs this petty squabble. Gao Jiao tries to butter up Old Chen, claiming his gene modification tech is the key to saving humanity. Our boy isn't buying the act, wondering why this miracle tech has to stay within her family's grasp. She doubles down on her family's elite status, boasting that they have the best researchers and endless resources. Lin Feng hits a nerve by asking why they can't just build it themselves, farming some sweet rage points. Desperate for the secret, she begs the doctor to name any price, promising the Gao family can deliver. When the doctor points toward Lin Feng, she loses it and tells our boy to shut his mouth. The old man drops a bombshell, admitting his own research is actually trash tier compared to the real deal. Gao Jiaha is completely dumbfounded, unable to process that she has been barking up the wrong tree. As the truth sinks in, she finally realizes the real power player has been standing right behind her. The high young master has finally had enough of the chatter and decides to butt in. He interrupts the tense standoff between Gao Jiao and Lin Feng, clearly losing his patience. Gao Jihao isn't thrilled about the interruption, demanding to know what the purple hair brat is planning. He pulls out a lighter and threatens that nobody leaves alive unless they cough up the gene data. He starts yapping about how this data will make even the elite families lick his boots. Our boy just smirks, noting that the guy's arrogance clearly comes from having some serious backing. Even with a gun pointed at his head, Lin Feng just laughs and says he's excited to die. Fuming at the disrespect, the young master orders his goons to shove everyone inside the facility. Lin Feng gets a rough welcome as he's kicked through the doors while the others,